All right, beautiful souls. Can y'all hear me pretty good? Am I clear? Want to do a mic check.
Yes, yes, we
All
can.
right, appreciate that. Tonight, of course, we're going to be talking about the new moon in Capricorn. And y'all know how I'm always talking about these moons can set the stage for the next 6 months, and how we can kind of start to, I would say, utilize these moons' energy to kind of see what phases we're moving into at this juncture in our life. Anytime that we deal with a new moon, this is called the ingress into a sign. So as the moon or as the sun is also making its way out of Capricorn, we're going into Aquarius season. So the new moon is going to be about planting a seed. That's why it's the darkest time of the moon phase. But of course, it's the winter time. So ain't nobody gonna go outside right now and go plant something in their ground during the winter. You get what I mean? So this is like the process that we're doing of integrating the things or allowing ourselves to open up more fertile ground as we do prepare for the next 6 months of our life going into the spring. All right. So we're getting ready. That means we got to till the soil a little bit, right? I know it's a little cold and the ground might be a little hard. This equates to the soil of our emotions and how you don't want to plant new thoughts on infertile ground right now, right? And that can be in the dynamics of love, career, relationships, because we got 5 planets in Capricorn. So there's a stellium going on with Capricorn right now. And by any time we dealing with the dynamics of the moon and the sun, and then we deal with the aspects of all of these other luminaries coming into playing with Capricorn, Venus, Mars, and Neptune, I think. No, it's not Neptune. It's Venus, Mars, and Mercury. My bad. So these planets are moving us, ushering in the inner authority, the inner authority over the autonomy of the emotions and the body. This is why Capricorn is a feminine energy, big mama energy, but it can show up as any level of authority. I love to say, even when you're dealing with Capricorn or your 10th house placements or your Capricorn placements, it can literally tell you about the authority figures in your life. And sometimes your mama done had to play both roles. And some of us probably were raised, or we probably got more nurturing out of our fathers than we actually did from our mothers, right? So it doesn't choose which dynamic wants to show up. It's just talking about your relationship with these authority figures, which equates to your relationships on how you deal with how you feel. All right. Because that's the opposite of Capricorn. It's Cancer, is what I'm speaking to. My bad, I switched screens right there. So I'll be going in on this PDF, of course. And of course, I want to, give us a full understanding of where we're going into Capricorn season. And of course, I just sent a lot of y'all the link, and you didn't get the PDF. So I know I didn't really get a chance to promote this thing the way I normally do. So of course, normally the workshop would be $33, and it come with the PDF. Or if you want to book the $99 transit reading to get a deeper look into what your Capricorn transits are doing and what Capricorn energy is representing in your life and your chart, you can still book that. All right. And if you would like the PDF, you can just let me know. You can send a small donation or whatever if you don't have the full 33. At this point, I'm just feeling real. Hey man, we just heard it really ain't nothing too much we all can really do about this thing but sharing this experience. So when it's all said and done, this life of devotional led me to a lot of different things, and I literally got the news that my aunt died today. So after all the things I've been going through with my friends and burying them and being a pallbearer and participating in these rituals and things and having to guard my energy and be present for people, and I get a phone call that my aunt was hit by a car, and she transitioned, and I was the point of contact. I'm just letting you all know that this is very Capricornish. I know what Capricorn means in my chart. All right. And no matter what, we still got to show up. Yeah, you might need time to grieve. You might need time to do whatever, but somebody's going to be expecting you to come in and do your job. All right. So I'm just here to do my job, beautiful souls. All right. So when you deal with this Capricorn new moon, that's happening tonight, it's a powerful threshold lunation. This is the first new moon of the calendar year. Yet it's arriving very at the very end of Capricorn season, just before the sun crosses into Aquarius. This gives it a rare closing. Can y'all see my screen? I just started talking to them ass.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, appreciate it. Yet it's arriving at the end of Capricorn season just before the sun crosses into Aquarius. This gives it a rare closing, a seating, a quality. It is both a final reckoning with the old structures and a strategic planning of intentions that will unfold throughout 2026. This is setting the stage of this fire hearth energy. All right, we had the Cancer full moon, then we coming back with the Capricorn new moon. So the Capricorn Cancer axis is actually setting the stage for the tone of this year. All right. Now the Capricorn energy governs karma, the long-term consequences, authority, discipline, mastery, leadership, structures we live inside, government systems, careers, legacies, inner authority versus external validation. The new moon here says, what are you committing to for the long haul, and what are you finally done carrying? Y'all know I be saying that bag lady, you so even when it comes to the things that naturally come with this life, people gonna die. You're gonna have a last day in everybody's life. Everybody gonna have a last day in yours. It's not saying that you should bypass your feelings. It's not saying that we negate or we become numb or even we start to become desensitized to these things. Because these things remind us that we're human. So when you have the inner authority, you don't need external validation. And what are you committing to for the long haul that you're finally done carrying? Because this is the first new moon of the year. And it acts as a cosmic contract signing for 2026. Right? It's like you signed the contract with the judge, Capricorn. And it's not wishful thinking, right? It's like not wishful thinking, binding intentions, right? This is the spiritual and the esoteric aspects about karmic closure, plus the soul maturation of the soul maturity. So this lunation marks the threshold of a spiritual adulthood. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, the great initiator. Spiritually, this new moon asks, what have you outgrown in an old identity? What responsibilities are no longer aligned with your soul's evolution? What mastery are you now ready to embody rather than study? This is why a lot of people been feeling like I don't want to show, I don't got to take these classes. They got all these classes, this and that, this and that. I don't, this is not a study guide. Anybody that's taking my classes, I'm all about the embodiment, right? Now, the thing about the embodiment, and even understand the dynamic of Capricorn, this can only happen over time. See? So you have to give yourself the permission to do the thing, to put the work in, right? That's why this is less about becoming and more about embodying. Because a lot of people, you can be becoming a lot of shit, right? So the soul is no longer asking, who am I becoming? It is asking, who am I willing to be accountable as? Now, if I know all of y'all got to be feeling that thing. And some of us might be ready to hold some people to a level of accountability. And if you think about it, even with the level of death, that I can totally be transparent, a lot of these people weren't willing to be accountable for who they are. And it was always about who I'm becoming, because when it's about who you're becoming, you don't want to let that old person die. So you don't want to let the old habits die, the old places die, the old energy connections and shit die, and it's slowly killing you. And so many people are killing themselves softly and slowly. It's just so sad to watch. So the sacred geometry of time, the Capricorn new moons are excellent for long range manifestation. 6 to 18 month cycles. Very so people with Capricorn moons could very well much so manifest things easily under these moons. Soul contracts, rewiring timelines, breaking ancestral patterns around survival, scarcity, and duty. All right. So spiritually, this moon helps collapse timelines where like it's overriding reward, and it replaces them with aligned effort. All right. So this new moon is where the spirit honors the consistency over intensity. Okay. This is like the small daily devotions that become sacred rituals. So this is preparing the vessel for the Aquarius light energy, to allow the light body. That's why people, the light languages and the intelligence of Aquarius, right? So because this lunation occurred just before Aquarius season, it functions as a purification gate before higher frequencies of Aquarius can anchor in. The nervous system must stabilize. The ego must release control. The foundation must be sound. So this is the new moon that's clearing the runway, so innovation doesn't collapse under unstable ground. Do y'all get that? Like when you talking about whatever you're building, right? All the things that you probably been planning or wanting to do, the ideas that you have, and now you get these sparks of innovation. But during Capricorn season, you then build that inner structure, right? And now you planning all these new things on unstable ground. It's gonna take your nervous system all over the place. It's gonna be like I'm just doing everything now. The burnout and shit kicks in, right? So these mundane and collective influences are all about structural reckonings. Collectively, Capricorn new moons tend to coincide with leadership shifts or accountability moments, institutional reforms, public conversations around responsibility, ethics, and long-term planning. So expect for final decisions around policies or systems that can't be postponed. So a tone of this is no longer sustainable, right? So a lot of the things that have to be restructured are going to be restructured. You can't resist that change. All right. So there's the increased focus on consequences rather than optics. Because a lot of times the optics can, like, just because you are saying you intended it to do this or you built the system to do this, it don't take away from the fact that consequently this is happening because of this, right? So this is not loud chaos. It's quiet restructuring. So the end of the old authority archetypes on a collective level, this lunation continues the dismantling of fear-based leadership, hierarchies built on control rather than competence, outdated definitions of success. New leadership models must emerge after this new moon. The collaborative efforts, the integrity-based work, the future-orientated, innovative things that we're building now. That's going to benefit more than just you. But first, Capricorn demands honesty. What is already expired? What are you constantly putting your time and energy into that literally is not even doing anything for you? It's just some shit you want to do, right? Because sometimes, with Capricorn energy, it ain't about what we want to do. It's about what you got to do. You know, that's the boss. It's like when you go to work, even when you go before the judge on the bench, it ain't about what you came here wanting to do. This is what has to happen as the action of as the consequence of your actions type shit or a lack of your actions. So the psychological and the emotional themes, the emotional tone around the new moon carries a stoic but deeply stabilizing emotional feel. You may notice a desire for simplicity, less tolerance for emotional Now, if y'all fitting into this shit, just put an 8 in the chat. 8 for Capricorn shit. All right. Less tolerance for emotional chaos, a craving for order, boundaries, and clarity. So emotionally, this is not a south moon, but it's a grounding one. And I'm gonna tell you, goddamn me, if this shit it ain't nothing south about this shit. Boy, that's why you can't be tender fucking with Capricorn shit. Cause man, boy, this should have you taking shit into your own hands and not accepting things as they are, and it's like, damn, I got to be grounded in this thing to realize that some of this shit is consequential. I can't control it. So it supports the ending of emotional labor that is the reciprocated, reclaiming time and energy, mature emotional self-regulation. So here's, I love to get these prompts and shit, right? So we can ask ourselves these internal questions and have these internal dialogues, especially relating to the energies that are present. Why am I over functioning out of obligation rather than the truth? Capricorn new moons heal burnout at the root. So if you've been experiencing burnout, god damn it, this moon saying I got you. But you gotta be willing to sit your ass down and appreciate some grounding first. You gotta appreciate the moments to where you gotta pause, even the moments to where you might have to feel because it's causing you to pause because you can't think about nothing else because you gotta feel some shit right now, right? That's why Cancer is the opposite. That's why emotions can make you sit the fuck down, literally. All right. So it's like when you really honor that in its totality, you can find yourself in a whole different light, and it will open you up to new experiences on how you can maintain your own inner authority. All right. So it's like, where am I over functioning out of obligation rather than truth? You know? And that's why the identity aspects of the personal life things, the manifestation work, identity and direction reset. Because this is one of the best new moons of the year to actually define personal standards, to set boundaries with your goddamn self, to choose fewer, right? Like less is more. You get what I'm saying? It's more meaningful goals now. The things I know that actually matter, not all this other shit that's really a distraction at the end of the day. So asking yourself, what am I willing to work for consistently? What no longer deserves my effort? These are internal questions. If y'all want to answer some in the chat, feel free to do so. All right, because I love to read them once I'm done. So the moon rewards clarity plus commitment. You have a clear, see, this is like confidence and clarity. I should have put that, right? Because that clarity plus commitment equals confidence and clarity. That means you can do something regardless. I'm doing it afraid. I'm doing it not knowing. I'm doing it whatever because I have a clear vision. I have a clear set of what I want, what I'm wanting to create, and I'm committed to that. Nothing is gonna make me waver from that, no matter what this shit might bring, right? So that's why career purpose and legacy is heavily guarded, I would say, influenced by Capricorn's domain. And Capricorn governs life direction. Even if you're not focused on a career, this lunation still asks, how do you contribute? What are you building that lasts? What do you want to be known for? These are very valid questions for your life and your life's legacy and your life's work. So intentions set now, right, benefit from long-term visioning, strategic planning, realistic timelines. So this is not about speed. Stop, slow down. It's about staying power. Whoa. Because sometimes you might run away too quick. And the moment you run away, the moment you didn't make that investment, the moment you pull it out, the shit pop, right? And even sometimes the moment you leave a relationship or the moment you leave somebody, you look back and they pop. You like, fuck. All the time I put in, this what the fuck gonna happen when I leave. And they be like, yeah, because of you. Yeah, so you closing this Capricorn season, entering Aquarius season. As Capricorn season ends, this lesson becomes you built the foundation. Now you're allowed to innovate. Okay. So Aquarius season, that follows will activate new ideas. It will bring social shifts and insights. It will invite experimentation and freedom. But without the grounding of this new moon, Aquarius can feel scattered. Okay. This kind of like this is why we go out of one energy into the next. This is why the wheel of time flows the way it does, because all these energies work in coherence. They're not fighting against each other. So this new moon don't want you to feel scattered during Aquarius season. So it ensures that future breakthroughs have roots. You're rooted in something no matter what excitement, no matter what sudden shifts come your way. Because that's gonna happen during Aquarius season, right? So some of the best ways for this new moon for you to integrate some of these things, writing three term intentions, not more. All right, three long-term intentions. Okay. Releasing one responsibility that drains you. Clean or organize a space tied to work or purpose. Ground the body, walking, stretching, breath work. A mantra for this lunation. I commit only to what is aligned, sustainable, and true. If y'all want to repeat that to yourself or come off your mic or say it out loud, I won't be tripping. I commit only to what is aligned, sustainable, and true. All right. So one of the final integrations you can do is this Capricorn New Moon is a quiet but decisive turning point. It doesn't shout, it doesn't rush, it just locks in trajectory, baby. So as we move from Capricorn into Aquarius, discipline becomes liberation. Structure becomes innovation. Responsibility becomes sovereignty. You're not being asked to do more. You're being asked to do what matters fully. All right. So the next part I want to speak on is alignment versus commitment. You know, I heard this topic kind of come up a lot, and a lot of times it's not even coming up in the dynamics of in a true context of somebody literally asking this in a figurative or a literal sense. All right. It shows up in surface areas, and I speak to those things there. Ain't that a nice picture right there, right? Alignment versus commitment. Now, why this Capricorn new moon is the initiation point? Because what aligns really, all right, what alignment is really, okay? when we dealing with this word alignment, people talk about this shit. I'm only doing it because if you walking away from what's no longer aligned, then you trying to go into what's in alignment. What alignment really is? Alignment is an energetic state. It happens when your values match your actions. You see how they ain't got nothing to do with other people. Your nervous system feels regulated. Your intuition feels clear. Things feel right without force. You know, alignment feels like flow, ease, synchronicity, emotional resonance, excitement without anxiety. Alignment is internal coherence. The shadow of alignment alone, because alignment alone can become passive waiting, spiritual bypassing. If it's aligned, it will happen. Y'all catching this? The avoidance of responsibility. Now, that's when I say half the people in the spiritual community that I'm aware of, this how they operate. Like no bullshit, you know. Constant recalibration without embodiment. I don't know how many times I've seen people disappear and come back. I gotta cut everything off. It's just too much for me. I need a break from this, a break from that. Constant recalibration, but no embodiment. See, this is why I know I get put in certain situations. Because I represent embodiment on a lot of levels. Even if I'm not aware that I represent the shit. Now I get put in a certain situation where I gotta be embodied. I ain't got time to be recalibrating myself because I'm too busy engulfed in the presence of the experience and being a solution. That's when you know everything ain't about you. So alignment says this feels right, but alignment does not guarantee longevity. See, you understand what I'm saying? So commitment, what it really is, commitment is the temporal choice. It happens when you decide, despite fluctuating feelings, you show up on days when alignment wavers. You accept responsibility for consequences. You build consistency over time. All right. Often commitment feels like grounding, responsibility, discipline, maturity, quiet confidence rather than excitement. You know, I ain't saying a lot, but goddamn me, I'm ready though. You know, commitment is agreement with time. The shadow of commitment, commitment without alignment becomes obligation. It becomes burnout. It becomes resentment. It becomes martyrdom. Living someone else's definition of goddamn success. Hence, we all out here damn near living the American dream. Commitment says, I choose this, even if it's uncomfortable. But commitment without alignment drains the soul. That's why a lot of people can wake up feeling tired, don't want to go to work, don't want to be in this relationship, don't want to do none of this shit because it's a commitment and it's not aligned. So this is what happens when Capricorn energy shows up. Now, the beauty of it is I don't know what Capricorn is teaching you in your chart. I don't know what planet is with. I don't know what's going on in your house, your 10th house. I don't know exactly what is aspecting your Capricorn. This is what these personal breakdowns do. Okay? Help you understand exactly what this is teaching you in your life. Because this new moon doesn't ask, does this feel good? It asks, is this sustainable, true, and worthy of my life force energy, of your life force energy? Capricorn teaches alignment, gives you direction. Commitment gives you form. I'm gonna say that one more goddamn time. Alignment gives you direction. Commitment gives you form. Without Capricorn energy, alignment stays theoretical. It's just in your head. Commitment stays oppressive. If I commit to it, I'm losing me. I ain't gonna have time. What about when the days I want to go out? What about the days I want to do this? Now I ain't gonna get too biblical with y'all on this, okay? You out here indulging in all the things of the world. You out here letting the devil use you. That's why Capricorn is the devil card in tarot. Now I went over that in the last workshop. Y'all remember that, right? With the Council Full Moon. So this new moon reflects the difference. Like how this new moon reflects the difference because this new moon exposes false alignment. Just pay attention to her. During this lunation, many people will feel a sudden disinterest in things they once felt aligned, emotional flatness towards old goals, a desire to simplify rather than expand. This is not a loss of alignment. It is alignment maturing. What's falling away is goals chosen for validation. Let it fall. Relationships sustained by momentum. Let them motherfuckers go. Path that one felt right, but no longer match who you become because you're embodying it now. You're not becoming it anymore. It was cool when you fuck with them when you were just becoming. You know, when you had the capacity, you still had a little of those urges in you. You know, you still wanted to go out and be with your homegirls and your homeboys, or go with an old boy, old girl, whatever the fucking case may be. But when it's all said and done, it's like that shit don't. It's I'm not. That shit is not just there for me anymore. It don't match who I've become, not who I'm becoming. So Capricorn new moons remove sentimentality, and it also from decision making. So it doesn't want you to cloud your decisions with emotions. So this is when I'll be like, Capricorn rules the general that you at war with, right? The general at war, stripes on it. Do you want your general whispering to you to get your ass down? You're in danger. They just launched a strike on us. Or you want that motherfucker to holler at your ass, say, get your ass down, soldier, goddamn it, we at war. Cause the motherfucker start catering you and babying you in certain situations to get you killed, right? Sometimes it's why they train you in the army the way they do to not feel. If you feel, you might die. So they remove the thought process. They want you to be very reactionary and trust your instincts. Cancer shit, okay? So this new moon tests commitment through reality. Capricorn does not test fantasy. It tests through fantasy. It tests through time constraints, energy limits, results, boundaries, follow through. Under this new moon, you may ask, am I actually living this or just resonating with the idea? And I'm gonna be real with y'all. I've had to ask myself these questions because I done told people 100 times people benefit way more from this shit than I do. So I've had to ask myself, is this worth me continuing to do this? Is this worth me continuing to pour into people and provide this type of information that can be life changing? Like I love it, but if I'm being realistic with myself, like I have to ask myself, is it sustainable? Right? These are real questions that I ain't nobody not subjected to this. And just like when you go to church, the preacher ain't subjected to not getting judged or not going through the same shit you do. So, am I actually living this or just resonating with the idea? What am I willing to structure my life around? People who ain't asking themselves these questions either they already feel like they got it, or there's no need to restructure anything, which is cool. So, what will I still choose 6 months from now? This lunation favors fewer commitments, clear timelines, realistic expectations, alignment without commitment versus commitment without alignment. Alignment without commitment looks like constant pivoting, many ideas, few results. Excitement followed by abandonment, living in a potential rather than embodiment. This what keeps me doing this shit. Cause I can't help but realize how many people benefit from what this shit do. The commitment has paid off in so many different ways when I remove my own selfishness from it, which in a lot of people's eyes might be a wrong thing to do. But when you live in a life of devotion, that's the only thing you can do because everything ain't always about you. So commitment without alignment looks like staying because of time invested. This is when you get caught up in a routine instead of a relationship. This is when it starts to feel like an obligation. Fear of change. Responsibility feels like punishment now. Chronic fatigue. See, so the Capricorn new moon choose what you can align with and commit to. This intersection is a true path for 2026. The timing and why this matters before Aquarius season. Aquarius energy, which follows immediately after, brings innovation, liberation, new ideas, collective shifts. But Aquarius without Capricorn ground, it becomes scattered, detached, unstable, rebellious without a purpose, a rebel without a cause. You see this shit here? See, the new moon is the anchor point. It ensures that what you believe or what you liberate yourself right into has structure, integrity, and longevity. What are you building that can hold the future? That is the real question. Are you building with somebody that you can't see a future with? I should have put that question there too. Personal integration questions, powerful for this new moon. Sit with these slowly, right? They are Sagittarian keys that I'm giving you with this. Okay. What am I aligned with emotionally, right? Okay, but unwilling to commit to practically? What am I committed to practically, but no longer aligned with spiritually? Where do I confuse comfort with alignment? What deserves my disciplined devotion this year? What am I ready to release without guilt? See, these are deep, integrative questions. If you really sit with them, all right, and be totally honest and transparent with your goddamn self. So, at a soul level, this new moon marks a transition from seeking alignment to living aligned commitment. This is where the student becomes the practitioner, the dreamer becomes the builder, the intuitive becomes the authority. God damn it, I think I might post this part right here. Okay. Capricorn doesn't ask for perfection, it asks for integrity over time. Okay. This is why it's the final sign after Virgo, Earth sign. After you got out of that perfect shit, you say it ain't got to be perfect. It's just, I got the authority to say it's a line over time. It will be perfect. I'm going to give it time. I'm going to give the baby time to gestate and birth and come out of the womb, which is why the opposite is Cancer. Hence, this moon is new, a birthing, a seeding, the darkness. So, the truth of this new moon is alignment is how you recognize your path. Commitment is how you goddamn walk it. Play it like I see it. I'm gonna walk it like I talk it. You understand? So the Capricorn new moon is the moment where spirit says, "You already know what's aligned. Now show me what you're willing to commit to." I got them eyes. I should have put them eyes right there with that. Looking at you. What are you willing to commit to? Okay. So when we dealing with intuition versus security, flow, right, heart, right, this structure and goals. Okay. So stability versus security. Because this is another thing that must go with alignment and commitment. You feel what I'm saying? So this axis itself, okay, is like why this part matters because every zodiac axis is a polarity that must be integrated, not chosen between. You don't have to choose between do I feel or do I work, right? Do I choose inner safety and emotional security, belonging and nourishment, or do I choose outer stability and structure and self-reliance and sustainability? They both go together. Together they answer the fundamental human question: what does it take for me to feel safe enough to live in my goddamn purpose? At the core, this is what a lot of people be asking. This action governs home and career, emotional needs, and worldly responsibilities, the ancestral memory and future legacy. Cancer, Capricorn. Vulnerability, Cancer. Authority, Capricorn. What security really is, Cancer. Security is emotional and relational safety. Cancer security comes from feeling emotionally held, being accepted as you are, consistent care and responsiveness, belonging without performance. Security answers, am I safe to feel? Okay. How security feels, warm, soft, the soft girl life, right? Can I drop my guards with you? Can I just be myself? Can I just keep my toes up in the air with you? Protected, familiar, rooted in memory. Security lives in the body, the heart, the nervous system, early childhood imprinting, the ancestral line. The shadow of security is when security is sought without growth, emotional dependency. This the codependency shit. Fear of independence is more codependency shit. Clinging to the familiar, codependency shit. Avoidance of responsibility. Oh yeah, that's just a byproduct of being, codependent. That means you're not going to be integral. That means you're not going to be authentic because if you say how you feel, you're going to be always, or let me say this, you're going to always be looking for a safe space to say how you feel. You're not going to be responsible for your own autonomy to just say it with your goddamn chest. Living in the past. See, Cancer Shadow says, if I leave this, I won't survive. You feel me? So what's sustainability or what stability really is, Capricorn? Stability is structured and temporal reliability. See, you see the difference in the two? Structure and temporal reliability. Capricorn stability comes from consistency, boundaries, self discipline, personal authority, long term planning. Stability answers, okay? Can I support myself over time? How stability feels grounded, predictable, quietly confident, anchored, self contained. Stability lives in systems, routines. Virgo, you hear that? Agreements, career paths, inner authority. All that deals with Taurus type shit. This is like that's why Capricorn is the boss of all the earth energies. You gotta embody all the earth signs fucking with Capricorn. You need some Taurus up in you. You need some Virgo up in you. You need all that shit up in you to actually embody Capricorn. That's why Capricorns, Sun, Moon, and Rising, a lot of times have to go through hell and back to get to a certain phase of their life, to get to that inner authority. And that's why when the shadow side of stability, when stability is pursued without emotional attunement, emotional suppression, people do it to themselves. Don't say how they really feel and blame it on somebody else for not making them feel safe. Isolation, over identification with productivity, fear of vulnerability. If you replace vulnerability with honesty and authenticity, you realize ain't shit weak about you. Loneliness disguised as strength, forced isolation type shit. I don't mess with nobody because I'm for real like that. I'll cut a motherfucker off with no motherfucking problem. I don't play by my energy. That's how people be sounding, but they really insecure as fuck. But don't get me started on that. Loneliness disguised as strength. Capricorn Shadow says, I'll be safe if I don't need anyone. See how I put the eyes on that one? I ain't forget to do that right there. So, why they are not the same thing? This is crucial for distinction. Security is how safe you feel, stability is how supported your life actually is. Trust me, okay, on this earth. You can have security without stability, emotionally held, but materially precarious. Stability without security, materially safe, but emotionally starved. I know we've all experienced people in those things, even we found ourselves in the latter of those energies. That's why this actually teaches one without the other is incomplete safety. So how the Cancer Capricorn actually shows up in real life relationships. Cancer seek emotional reassurance. Capricorn seeks reliability and consistency. Healthy integration becomes I feel emotionally safe and I can rely on you. God damn it, some woman in the house should have been screaming. Some woman should have been like, yeah, yeah, then say yes. So when balance shows up, when Cancer heavy clinging, fear of abandonment, Capricorn heavy, emotionally distant, right? Control. You know, this is one of the things that people always deal with Capricorn figures in their life, right? See, career and purpose, Cancer asks, does this care for me? Hmm. Capricorn asks, can this sustain me? A lot of people will choose what sustains them, knowing the job don't give a damn about you. You see how the imbalance shows up naturally? So healthy integration is my work nourishes me and supports my motherfucking life. That's why sometimes working in a job or in a work environment to where it's actually like home and family and you feel supported, like people do their best shit in those environments. And a lot of times people don't leave those work environments. They stay for a long time. 25 years on the job, 30 years on the job. You get what I'm saying? See, healthy integration is a home that feels safe and functions well. And when you talk about because Cancer wants emotional sanctuary, Capricorn wants structure and responsibility through home and family. So on ancestral and a collective theme, this actually carries deep ancestral memory. Cancer holds inherited emotional patterns. Capricorn holds inherited survival strategies. See, y'all, if y'all learning something about Capricorn and Cancer tonight, just put a two in the chat for me. That's all I want you to do. Or you can put a fire emoji in the chat or something. Or you can screenshot some of this and share it and tag me in it. Okay? Because many people inherited emotional caretaking roles. Cancer. Hyper independence or overwork, Capricorn. If you want to know where that shit come from in your life, check your Cancer Capricorn placement. You don't have Cancer Capricorn placements, check what's in your fourth or your 10th house. If you don't have anything in your fourth or your 10th house, check where your moon sign is and also your Saturn is. Just took you to the planetary rulers. This acts as what did your ancestors do to survive and what are you ready to do differently? See, so on a spiritual dimension, from survival to sovereignty is where we at with this. Because on the soul level, security teaches trust, stability teaches self mastery. Together, they create they lead to emotional sovereignty, secure attachment, sustainable purpose, mature love. See, the highest expression of this act is I can hold myself and I can be held. That's my sister calling me. All right. I can hold myself and I can be held. All right. So when we're dealing with this emotional sovereignty, like together they lead to this axis gets activated with this Capricorn new moon. And when you're dealing with wild Capricorn New Moon, right, the stability is being redefined, emotional dependencies are being examined, self-support structures are being strengthened. As Cancer, and as Cancer is ruled by the moon, this new moon quietly rewrites emotional safety patterns, old emotional coping mechanisms that are up for release, new forms of inner security that are being seeded here and now. So this lunation asks, what kind of stability allows me to feel secure and not just survive? You know, like you got to choose that. You know, you got to be able to distinguish which one is doing what though before you can make that choice on a wise level. So ask yourself, where do I seek emotional security instead of building stability? Where do I build stability at the cost of emotional security? What would it look like to create both slowly and honestly? What support am I ready to accept without losing autonomy? What responsibility am I ready to take without emotional shutdown? Questions to ask yourself. Because the core truth of this Capricorn Cancer axis is security without stability is fragile. Stability without security is empty. Cancer teaches you how to feel safe. Capricorn teaches you how to stay safe. You feel what I'm saying? So when integrated, you don't clean, you don't armor up. You root yourself and you build a life that can hold you. God damn it, if you feeling that, just put a purple heart in the chat if you feeling that. Okay. Now, this axis is all about career, family, love, relationships, all that good shit, emotional security versus relational stability. Cancer and love, emotional safety, being seen and vulnerability, consistent, emotional responsiveness, feeling chosen without earning it. Capricorn in love, reliability, longevity, consistency over intensity, showing up when it's convenient. See, building something that lasts. So how this axis plays out is this axis as in love. Do I feel safe with you, Cancer? Can I rely on you over time, Capricorn? True love requires both now, straight up. Okay. So how this Capricorn new moon activates love with Venus, Mars, and the moon in Capricorn, love becomes serious, desire becomes intentional, emotional fantasy collapse under reality. All that fantasizing and shit. So in this moment where situationships feel empty, inconsistent dynamics feel intolerable, emotional security without effort no longer satisfies. Stability without warmth no longer works either. So, personal sign this is happening is you stop chasing resources. You want proof, not promises. You are drawn to grounded, emotionally mature partners. You lose interest in emotional chaos. Shadow to watch is emotional shutdown, over control, fear of vulnerability, mask as standards. See, a lot of people got fear of vulnerability and they mask that shit as standards. You get what I'm saying? So Capricorn doesn't want you to feel safe. Just make sure that's not true. If it is, just check it a little bit. Capricorn wants you to feel right, doesn't want you to feel unsafe, but it can't forget that emotional openness is not a weakness, right? So collective things in love as humanity is exiting trauma bonding, romance fueled by instability, that struggle love shit, intensity mistaken for intimacy. We're entering secure attachments, mutual responsibility, love as a container, not as a fucking thrill ride. You ain't got to keep jacking around thinking that red flags is saying there's a roller. It's the circus. It's fun over here. And you get your popcorn and you say yes to some shit. And before you know it, you done got jacked all around and your neck fucked up and you got whiplash and all kind of shit. You know, then you got body aches and shit. Then you got to spend 9 months trying to get that shit out of you. So belonging versus responsibility, especially when it comes to family and ancestral dynamics, career and family, the emotional belonging, feeling protected, being nurtured, being allowed to depend. Capricorn and family, roles and duty, who provides, who holds it together, who sacrifices. This action reveals who became the adult too early. God damn it, all of us grew up to look too fast in some type of way. Who learned safety through responsibility? Well, shit, this sounds like some shit that the world done taught all of us, right? Who learned love through caretaking? Well, I ain't got to reiterate on that part either. How this new moon impacts family systems is with Mercury in the moon and sun in Capricorn. Family patterns become visible. Old roles are questioned. Emotional labor is renegotiated. This new moon often brings boundary setting with family, conversations around responsibility, emotional maturity, replacing guilt-based loyalty. If y'all ready to clear that shit out with your family, then you can just give me I don't know, eight in the chat or something here, or nine. Let's do a nine. So personal signs that you stop, explaining yourself. You release guilt around independence. You redefine what family means. You realize love doesn't require self-erasure, right? So the shadow aspects to watch out for is emotional coldness, cutting off instead of communicating. That shit fucks with me when people do that. Just be real, say it with your motherfucking chest, so that way I ain't got to be over here trying to figure it out, right? I'm just letting motherfucker figure it out. Just stay away from them people. Confusing boundaries with walls. Ancestral healing theme is going to be this new nation rewires survivor-based family loyalty, generational scarcity patterns, emotional suppression passed down as strength. So spiritually, this is a lineage reset. We concur without carrying every goddamn thing. Okay. So emotional fulfillment versus sustainable structure. Career, cancer and career meaning, feeling emotionally nourished by work. Curring profession, soul-led paths, Capricorn and career, sustainability, income, structure, long-term growth, authority. This acts as, does this work support my life and my nervous system at the same damn time? Or am I just it's just supporting my life, my nervous system all fucked up because of this fucking job. So how this new moon impacts career and purpose with Mars, Sun, and Mercury in Capricorn, ambition sharpens, focus intensifies, long-term plans will be crystallized. You ready to retire, you ready to walk away, you ready to do something different. It's time to crystallize that shit. This is a builder's moon. Okay. So career clarity, strategic decisions, letting go of unstable paths, a desire to work smarter, not harder. Expect that. Personal signs, you narrow your focus, you stop overgiving at work, you want fewer obligations, better returns. If you setting those boundaries at work, definitely put me an eight in the chat. You define success on your terms. The shadow things to watch out for is overworking, identifying worth with productivity, ignoring emotional needs for results. See, Capricorn success without Cancer curve leads to burnout. That's basically the aspect of what it is, right? So the collective and the spiritual mundane aspect is, as we break this down, there's a new identity cycles, emotional reset around responsibility, collective maturity threshold. Humanity is being asked, what are we actually willing to sustain? Mercury and Capricorn, serious conversation, strategic thinking, truth over comfort. Less noise, more substance. Expect policy shifts, structural announcements, conversations around accountability. Venus in Capricorn. Redefinition of love. Love through consistency. Worth measured by integrity, not attraction. Relationship without depth feel hollow. See, Mars in Capricorn, which is exalted, which means that is at its exaltation, means it's kind of at its most influential here, which a lot of people would say that it's not in a place that it wants to be. But Mars, I would say, is most powerful here with its fire because it's lighting your earth, it's scorching the earth. Disciplined action, strategic movement, long-term effort rewarded. Collectively, systems push forward. Resistance meets pressure. Those aligned with purpose advance. I'm ready. I'm telling you right now. Signs of the times and what to look for is institutions restructuring, leadership accountability, emphasis on long-term planning, collapse of unstable systems. Personal indicators you can check for is desire for simplicity in your life, stronger boundaries, emotional maturity, less tolerance for chaos. Emotional tone, quiet seriousness. I ain't said a word, but motherfucker, you know I ain't playing. See, grounded resolve, less dramatics, more decisiveness. I'm just gonna do it. I ain't got time to be dramatic about the motion around doing it. So as we transition into Aquarius season from stability into innovation, Capricorn builds the container. Aquarius electrifies it. See, it's like building a battery, and then you need the electricity to come spark it to get it going. So after this new moon, ideas accelerate, new social models emerge, innovation becomes possible because the foundation is solid now. So without the Capricorn grounding, like I said earlier, Aquarius becomes chaotic. With it, Aquarius becomes a visionary and sustainable. So in love, show me, don't sell me. In family, cure without self-betrayal. In career, build what can hold your future. Spiritually, okay, stability is not the enemy of freedom. It's what makes freedom livable. All right. Now, I want to give out a 6 month arc that you can kind of look out for this energy. Okay, so I'm gonna give a little blueprint to you right here. You can see the contract between now and mid February. All right, as the energetic thing, commitment becomes conscious. This is when decisions are made quietly, lines are drawn, inner authority is claimed, emotional dependency patterns are noticed. Nothing looks dramatic yet, but the future direction is set. So, personal life, you can choose fewer things. You feel less emotionally reactive. You stop explaining yourself. You commit inwardly before outwardly. In love, reality replaces fantasy. You assess consistency over chemistry. You either stabilize a bond or emotionally disengage. So career is going to be about strategic planning, long-term restructuring, clear yes or no moments. So serious tone in leadership, policy groundwork, quiet institutional decision, what you can expect on a broader scale, like from the government and all that kind of shit. So in March to mid February, we're going to be dealing with new ideas are going to emerge, right? Oh, you question old rules that you just accept that you once accepted. You experiment but responsibly, right? Conversations about autonomy in a love life. Space becomes important. Relationships need both freedom and reliability. Career is going to be about innovation, tech systems, new models, trying new methods with a solid framework type shit. On a collective level, social movements are going to reignite. Community focus grows. Networks become important. So watch for rebellion just to feel free. Anchor with innovation that respects sustainability. All right. So in mid March to mid April, you'll be in like in the testing phase, reality checks, course correction, all that good shit. Commitments made in January. Um, they're gonna test those in that during that time. Boundaries that you said earlier, structures that were put in place. The personal life, fatigue reveals misalignment. What's unsustainable becomes obvious. You refine routines. In the love life, consistency or lack of it becomes undeniable, right? Emotional maturity will be tested. Secure bonds will deepen. Unstable ones will crack during this time. Now, deadlines in your career, performance reviews, adjustments to workload or direction, pushback against new systems, proof of concepts movement is kind of like what everybody gonna be on a collective level. So self-criticism, anchored with like refinement and not abandonment. Okay. So from mid-April to mid-May, this is gonna be like the activation phase, the embodiment through action. What survives the testing phase now gets energy. Personal life, increased confidence, motivation returns. You act from clarity, not urgency. The love life, the clear intention decision about commitment, actions, family match words. Finally, match words. All right. A career advancement. You can expect some advancement in your career around this time. Leadership moments, visible efforts pay off. All right. On a collective level, major initiatives around may launch. Even strong leadership energy. Systems move forward. Okay, so watch for overextension, pace plus delegation. Okay, so in the last phase, I mean, in mid-May, we'll be off into in mid-June in phase five. We'll be in the integration phase once again, and this will be like Earth and Earth begin to harmonize, stable and flow. Capricorn structure is going to be more of this phase, going to blend of that. The Aquarius innovation, emerging emotional awareness, personal life aspects. The life feels more organized, nervous system calms, New normal forms. Okay. So the love life, security, and freedom coexist. Healthy interdependence, less emotional drama, more trust. And career systems run smoothly. You trust your process. Sustainable rhythms develop. Collectively improve collaborations, community-based solutions. Watch for complacency and also conscious gratitude plus maintenance will be what you want to anchor in the final phase of phase six in mid-June to mid-July. Cancer season mirroring. Okay, this is when we're hitting Cancer season. So the emotional reckoning, this is where Cancer Capricorn axis fully activates. Does not feel safe. Does this feel safe emotionally? Personal life aspects are going to be about emotional truth will surface. You assess how supported you feel. Home, family, inner life gain, that matter again, you know what I'm saying? This is also gonna deal with the love life about attachment patterns could emerge. Emotional safety becomes the metric. Relationships either feel like home or they don't, you know. So work-life balance becomes non-negotiable. You evaluate emotional cost versus reward. Public focus on care, protection, family, emotional responses to structural outcomes. Watch for emotional regression here. All right. And what you want to anchor is the compassion plus boundaries. So the big picture over this thing is like what's really doing is this 6 month cycle moves humanity from survival to sustainability, from emotional dependence to structure interdependence, secure interdependence, from chaos to conscious structure, from fantasy to embodied future. Now, my final integration message is January. Ask you, what are you willing to build? July, right? Will ask, does what you build actually hold you? If both answers are yes, you align with this timeline and the new moon opened up for you. Okay, those are the ways you can kind of go into this new moon. And on this part, this is where I'm, of course, talking about what this is doing to the nervous system. Even how you can kind of use this energy, this time to kind of manage or deal with the root, the sacral, the solar plexus, the earth connections. Even dealing with this Capricorn stellium because it's going to be a lot of sympathetic overdrive, tight chest, clenched jaws, shallow breathing, tension in the spine, the shoulders. Okay, like energy, the racing mind, hyper responsibility, difficulty relaxing and shit. Like I must control everything. I cannot rest. Parasympathetic underactivation. Okay. Feelings of fatigue, emotional suppression, numbness, energy, difficulty connecting with the heart or gut intuition. All right. Avoiding feeling to maintain control. Adrenal response is going to be stress responses, potential burnout and pressure to performing just high. Okay. Heightened cortisol can affect digestion, immunity, and your heart rate. So I want to break down how this could be affecting you energetically. Y'all know I deal heavily in energy and why you might be experiencing some things in your body that are playing out based off the things that are going on in the cosmos. All right. So once again, make sure you get this PDF. That way you can kind of tap off into that and kind of do some of those things for yourself. As you can see, I ain't gonna tap in just basically like some integration. And one of the main things is where am I trying to control outcomes? Because the energy is trying to express itself somewhere and you could be blocking it. Right. So if your body feels lighter, less tension in the spine or the shoulders. Emotions flow instead of getting stuck. Decisions feel clearer, not reactive. Sleep is restorative, right? You feel more restored when you sleep. Energy is sustainable throughout the day. Creativity and confidence begin to flow naturally. Like that's how you will know that you're in alignment. So this stellium is asking you to embody responsibility without rigidity, a balancing act of Capricorn's discipline and Cancer crown emotional wisdom. Keeping the nervous system regulated and chakras thriving is essential to sustain the next phase of your life, right? So leading into Aquarius season, this into the full snow moon. And I do have a program that I will be doing. This is the nervous system reset program for those of you who might be interested in that. All right. Make sure you inbox me if you're interested in that. I'll be kind of launching more of it this week. Now, of course, the rest of the PDF is of course for all the signs. For those of you who get it, this will be about your sun sign, your ascendant. And of course, I have the life path numbers in here. I've been adding those that you, Paul, can probably been noticing if the ones who've been constantly showing up to the workshop. And you'll see the moon signs. I got the midhavens down here, and then at the end, I have the ritual for you. All right, so there's the ritual, and this will help you, with the crystals in normal fashion, like I give it out, like I like to give you all the tools to be able to harness this energy and all that good shit. Okay, so that was the workshop, beautiful souls. Um, and of course, remember, this is a beautiful time for us to be alive. It's a beautiful time for us to embrace more inner authority. Even understanding that there are so many things in life that we cannot control, being able to accept and acknowledge those things, and being able to adjust and flow. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so beautiful and divine to experience to be in a true embodied state. It doesn't stop us from feeling. It actually makes us more immense and more sensitive to these things. But the self awareness and the tools to regulate ourselves during these times is very powerful. So I hope these tools can help you out. I will also be reposting this on my YouTube. So once again, if you want the full transit breakdown, of course you can go ahead and send me the $99, and I'll get that full transit breakdown over to you before the night is up. You will have the next 3 days to kind of tap into this new moon's energy. So I'll make sure those of you who are getting the full breakdown that I will get it to you tonight. I normally, I know I would have been working already, but as I told you before, I woke up to some news, and sometimes we can't dictate our day. No times we really can't dictate our day, to be honest with you. And all we can do is adjust to it and flow with it. So here I am in flow. Here I am in presence. Here I am in devotion. Here I am in gratitude for all of you, for your time, your energy, for joining in, for listening to me, and for being present. All right. So peace and love to you all. High vibration to you all. And don't forget, if you want to book that transit reading, or if you want to book the cosmic forecast for 2026, make sure you get that done. If you want to do the integration, the nervous system reset with me, let me know, and I'll get you integrated into that program. We'll be starting around the 25th of January. That way we'll be done right before the spring equinox. Okay. So I want to get your system prepared for the spring and prepared for this parasympathetic wake up. All right. So peace and love, beautiful souls. Gratitude to you all, and enjoy this new moon. Peace. Namaste.
Peace.